Hey, what's up guys? John here. We're seeing some really interesting things happen in this economy, and it's fascinating because I don't think a lot of people are catching what's happening. So the last 2 years, remember we got 3 stimulus checks for $1,200 each, $3,600 in total, plus PPP loans and unemployment benefits. People were pretty happy. They were satisfied. They got this money for cooperating and doing staying inside, right? So people were like, okay, fine, I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna listen. So they did. They took the money, but now what's happening is now they're issuing more money, except it's no longer for the reason before. The new reason is inflation. The world's too expensive. We have to realize what's happening right now. The relationship between us and Big Bro is being modified. It's being modified in a unique way. Before it was, they work for us. Now when they give money, we work for them. We listen to them, right? And so that's essentially what's happening right now. We're starting to see much more of these programs. In fact, it's in 41 different cities and states all across the country right now. And California is now issuing a whole new package, a whole new plan, giving money up to an income of $499,000 a year. So if you make $500,000 a year, $40,000 a month, basically, you will get free money from California, right? It's fascinating here. In Ohio, for example, they're giving out money because of utility bill expenses, right? Where this is going is, I think, concerning, and I think that we all need to pay attention to this because this is the tip of the iceberg in terms of where we're going. And I share this information to prepare everyone. I want everyone to understand the direction that we're headed as a society so that you can either start businesses or invest accordingly or come up with a plan, because I would bet that in a year or in 6 months or in 2 years, you do not want to be in a place to where you need these checks. You would rather probably be fully independent and have your own, full control over your life, right? What they're doing here is they're giving out these checks as if they are the ones bringing in this solution, but in reality, the only one really gaining is them. It's almost like the helpful Honda people. We saw also those commercials. They'll come and they'll do some small little gesture. They'll fill a tiny hole in the road, might cost them $100. Then they'll run campaigns and talk about all the great things that they've done. And the only one really that benefited was Honda, right? The same thing is going to happen here. The same thing is going to happen here with these programs. Take a look at this. So California received millions in inflation relief under the budget deal reached between Newsom and lawmakers. Some 23 million Californians. California has 40 million people. So 45 or 52, 53% of California, a little bit more, is getting checks, right? California lawmakers reached a budget deal with Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom late Sunday that includes sending inflation relief checks. Inflation relief checks. This is the beginning of universal basic income, right? Before people thought that was crazy, it would never happen. This is the beginning of it. When they say that they're talking about combating, inequality and inequity and making things a more fair place, what they're really saying is that the world's going to get so expensive that what's essentially going to happen is we're going to be giving out money and everyone's going to get the same amount of money and everyone's going to live at the same level, right? And then at that point in time, it's only going to be a fair and equitable place because everyone defines what is normal living standards, right? So all that's going to change. Everything's going to change. And if you're not all the way at the top or, doing very well, then this is what they have planned, right? So per the terms of the agreement, around 23 million Californians will receive direct payments up to $1,050 as part of a $17 billion relief package. $17 billion. You think about what this actually means. California has a surplus of $100 billion, right? So they're giving out 17% of their surplus. The checks are absolutely tiny that they're giving Californians, but they're going to spend $17 billion here. The package will also include a suspension of California's sales tax on diesel and additional funds to help people pay their rent and utility bills. Remember Gavin Newsom last year said that he was going to pay everyone's rent. And, if you can't pay, don't worry, I'm going to pay. He literally said this. And now, they paid between 2 and 3% of all of the rents in which California promised to pay. So you had this relationship between landlord and tenant that was amicable a few years ago. And then what happened was Californian tenants were lied to, the landlords were lied to, and they were both misled, and now they're both in worse off positions than they were just a couple of years ago. The payment will be issued via direct deposit funds or debit cards to tax filers and their dependents later this year or early next year to Californians. Recipients will receive $350, $250, or $200. If you have a Honda Civic or Honda Accord or you drive any basic 4-cylinder entry-level vehicle, how much does it cost to fill your tank? $80, $100, right? How much is car insurance today? This doesn't cover anything for anyone. Maybe this covers 3 days or 4 days worth of expenses for someone that really, really, really penny pinches, right? This doesn't cover much. But yet, what's ultimately going to happen here is we're likely going to see further inflation. We're going to see higher costs, higher goods. People are going to take this money and go spend it. Spend, spend, spend. It's just going to drive up costs even more. Rather than taking $17 billion and saying, hey, what will be a solution in which the people of California would really benefit? Maybe we could invest in mental health, or maybe we could invest in education, or maybe we could invest in whatever it may be. But to put it into a long-term practical benefit to society, rather than just they put the $17 billion out there, and then in 2 weeks or a month after that, people are worse off than they were initially, and there's been no actual benefit to society, right? Maybe that's the intent. Based on the income level, plus an additional payment for the same amount if they have at least one dependent. When we take a societal direction like this, we have to ask ourselves, what productive society has ever been paid to contribute nothing? What productive society, right? This is the society in which we're being pushed in right now, is where we're being paid to produce nothing, whereas other countries are producing everything, right? We're moving in this rapidly. Like, this is happening. It's happening very quickly. Single filers making less than $75,000 a year will get $350. Joint filers with an income of less than $150,000 receive $350. Filers with at least one dependent will receive an additional $350. According to the state, the majority of Californians, roughly 82%, fall under this category. Single filers making more than $75,000 a year, but less than $125,000 will get $250. Joint filers making more than $150 but less than $250 will receive $500. And filers in this category with at least one dependent will receive an additional $250. Single filers making more than $125,000 a year but less than $250,000 will get $200. Joint filers making more than $250,000 but less than $500,000 will receive $400. So if you're making $499,000 a year, this net income, $499,000 a year. So maybe you're making $700,000 a year gross income. Your net maybe is $499 or $480, whatever it is. You're going to get $400, right? Filers in this category, at least one dependent, will receive an additional $200. Sunday's night tentative deal includes suspending a 23-cent gas tax for diesel for at least a year, right? California is the highest tax in the world because in the country. It's because the state is run so poorly. There are so many problems in the state of California. That's why so many businesses are leaving. Everything is expensive. It's just a challenge. That state is a big challenge. For example, look at Ohio, right? So thousands of Americans will receive up to $500 for a bill credit and how to apply. And this is AEP Ohio is offering $2.7 million to customers who are affected by the outages that came about a week after the 230,000 customers across the country lost power. So you think about this: energy bills are going up, gas bills are going up, and they're giving money to offset the expenses that are coming, right? That are here. So they're giving this money. This isn't solving the overall long-term problem. They're just going to temporarily, come in as a helpful hand to people. Then we have these 41 cities and states throughout the country. 41. They're everywhere, right? So then now Oregon is issuing a $600 stimulus check for low-wage workers. $600 stimulus check for low-wage workers. So this is where we're headed. This is where society as a whole is headed, is this a new type of dependence, this new relationship. And the question I have for you is this something that you're excited about? Do you like this idea? Do you think that this is a good thing? I'm sure some people will benefit. And this is a great thing for some people. But the net result is the country going to become more competitive and more productive if we're stepping into a world that's much more expensive and people are paid to contribute nothing, right? This is, I think, going to be the start to a larger problem. And this larger problem is going to be a large universal basic income across all the states with all different tax thresholds, But what they're going to likely do is increase taxes, and continue to increase taxes because they need to fund these programs. And as they continue to increase taxes because they need to give people this money, more and more people are going to be forced into accepting the money because they're going to lose their business and lose their, what they have, because taxes are already high. You factor in rising wage costs, rising costs just to operate a small business. Things are harder and more challenging for business owners today than ever before, unless you're a large corporation. This is why it's so crucial. It is so crucial to pay attention to the details and the writing on the wall. This is where they're moving us. And I think the smart entrepreneurs paying attention to it, they're investing accordingly. They're making the right decisions now. They are reducing their debt levels. They're coming out with a game plan. Because I mentioned before, I think we have 3 years, really just 3 years to make a ton of money. After that, the clock is going to run out of time. I think at that point, it's just going to get so hard. Next 3 years, this is the moment. This is the time to make money. This is the time to really be careful about, the decisions in which you make for your business, even the people that you spend time with. Like do an audit of your friends. Make sure you're spending time with people that are, in line with where you want to go in life. Because, the time to waste, I think, is in the past. I think the next 3 years, we have to spend it very well and be really smart and strategic with, how we go about our everyday lives and, where we spend time. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're stepping into a massive universal basic income package throughout America, and which is only going to increase taxes and incentivize further dependence and crush our overall production in this country, really just kind of painting the perfect landscape for us to potentially lose the reserve currency and many more problems coming for this country. What do you think about this? Drop your comments below. Hit the like button. Subscribe or else subscribe on my second channel. It's going to be an interactive call-in show this upcoming week. I'm really looking forward to it. Be sure to subscribe there. It's a link down top comment below. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. And if you want to get started on YouTube, you want to get on the YouTube grind with me, cashnow.video. If you need help fixing your credit, this is the time to do it. This is the time to fix your credit, because the next 3 years, as I mentioned, you fix your credit now, put yourself in a position now, get everything in line now to grow and scale over the next 3 years. Do that. I would do that as a priority to get your credit in line, to make sure that you can position yourself over the next 3 years to where you can grow and scale. Credit holds people back from growing their business. It holds people back from paying too much for interest on their credit cards. It holds people back just in general. So if you have problems on your credit, you need help, cashnow.video. My team is absolutely incredible, and your credit card will not be charged until my team speaks with you and we go through a full comprehensive look at your credit score, your credit report, and come up with a game plan. If we can help you, and we believe we can help you, we'll go ahead and we'll try to help you. If we feel like we can't help you, your card won't be charged, you'll be given free advice. So cashnow.video. And then also, if you want to invest in real estate when the market crashes, cashnow.video. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you're interested in being sponsored on my YouTube channel, visit cashnow.video/sponsor and fill out the application.